Great. I'll be sending this to Mark and his team, and he can send it to you guys after the event. So, reverse mentoring. I guess Mark already touched on a bit of an intro about myself. But who am I, right? Currently, I'm an enterprise consultant for HR. So we did mention I used to head sales and marketing in Sprout Solutions. If you do not know Sprout Solutions, they're actually at the back. And the main thrust of this business is to automate HR processes from timekeeping all the way to payout. So if you have any challenges in terms of attendance, payroll, even recruitment, you can get in touch with me or them, and you're gonna have a great, pain-free HR process at work. I'm a full-time fitness instructor over at Cycle House Studio. I teach spinning and also teach Zumba and funky classes at certain gyms and certain offices. I am a business owner. I have a barbecue stall, Wallace Grill over at Sagol Malingap Food Park at QC. I also love music and theater. I do musical theater acting as a professional job. And I'm also a worship leader at CCF. And I'm 27! Okay, so why am I telling you all these things, right? Not because I have an innate desire to expose my personal CV to a group of people in the room. It's really to let you know that in the past 27 years of existence, I have had the privilege and opportunity to handle and mentor a couple of people from different, backgrounds, age groups, cultures, and races even, and it has taught me a lot about life. So, let's first define what a mentor is, okay? If you look at our friendly neighbor dictionary, Google, this is basically the definition. It is a wise and a trusted counselor or teacher. So I'd like you to remember two things about this definition. A mentor is wise and a mentor is trusted. Okay? We add 3 letters to the word, it becomes an action word, where the mentor is to impart wisdom to the mentee for growth, improvement, and overall advancement of the person. Okay? So, quick question to everyone as we jumpstart this talk. Who do you think has the ability to be a mentor? You can shout it out. It's a free country. Yeah? Okay, I heard a teacher. That's good. Basic definition, right? Fortune Online actually has a definition, and it's this one. We have an enduring cultural narrative where older, more experienced people impart wisdom to a younger, eager-eyed generation. Younger workers should be grateful for the advice and stay quiet until they too have enough experience to turn around and mentor the next generation. Does everybody agree with this definition? No, okay. That's a resounding no. There's a problem with this definition, right, ma'am? And I think it can be summarized in this word, stereotypes. Right? I see a lot of nods. It's good. In this context, stereotypes damage the potential, this is the definition, it damages the potential for different generations to learn, enduring and important lessons from the experiences of others. Is that right? So I want you to imagine for a second yourself. You put yourself in a box. When you do that, what do? Visualize. This is my face, or yourself, an idea, or even a concept. You put it in a box. You create walls. That's the first thing you do. Even if you draw something, you put it in a box, you draw walls. In this case, let's make it a square. So we have 4 walls, right? Pwede kasing pentagon, di ba? So 4 walls. If you create walls, what does that do? Walls are barriers. They're meant to restrict whatever is within their boundaries from coming out or from going, beyond a certain point. So if you create stereotypes, on people, ideas, concepts, whatever it may be, you're creating walls. You're damaging the potential of that certain being or concept from fulfilling, from maximizing its real worth or value. How can you know what this person is capable of if you've already boxed the person, right? Okay, cool. Tom Gimbel agrees. He's the CEO and founder of LaSalle Network. LaSalle Network is one of the biggest talent agencies, recruitment, and HR firms in Chicago. And this is what he says. The conflict between younger and older generations in the workplace is due to negative assumptions. Many baby boomers see millennials as impatient, unprofessional, and lazy, while millennials see baby boomers as unapproachable or old school. Is that right? At the end of the day, your age has nothing to do with your success. Your execution does. Okay? If that message is not conveyed from the top, these generations may clash. I just want to repeat that line again. Your age has nothing to do with your success. Your execution does. Right? If I am looking at someone as a mentor, the credibility to me should be the person's experiences, right? Accomplishments, and his ability or her ability to be able to impart the knowledge that I seek from him. Age has nothing to do with that. I can talk to I can talk to a 75-year-old executive and learn marketing tactics from him if he's done it for the past 40 years. I can talk to a 10-year-old Olympian and learn fitness skills from that person. So it doesn't really matter, right? I can always get information and knowledge from different age brackets. This is an infographic I saw online, and it basically predicts the multiple generations at work by 2020. So if you focus on the screen real quick, is it clear from the back? You kind of see it? Not so much? Okay, I can just run it down. So the first category right here, traditionalists, born 1900s to 1945. Okay, so maybe these are the people who are part of the C-levels in your company, right? Or maybe an enterprise agent of some sort. Next category is the boomers. Okay, they're born 1946 to 1964. The next category, Gen X, which I think comprise the group today. The next one are the millennials. Okay, you'd be surprised. Millennial category actually includes people from ages 21 to 50. So who's part of that group here? Show of hands, real quick. There you go. See, maybe more than half of you guys here are millennials. So I want you to tell yourself, I'm a millennial. I'm a millennial, there you go. Okay, so that's the age group of a millennial. The next one is Gen 2020. Okay, so that's 20 years old and below. So if you look at this infographic real quick, you get to see the different milestones per category, right? So during the traditionalists era, World War II happened, which probably had something to do with the psychographics of the people living during that time, which is why one of the descriptions of the people here are disciplined, right? They're more structured, they're more making sure that everything happens on time with the structure, according to structure. You get to boomers, next part. During this time, moon landing happened, right? It's the age of curiosity, age of innovation. People started to create stuff out of nothing, right? Next part, you look at Gen X. This was when the internet was born. Who is part of the Gen X era here? Yeah, there you go. So during your time, the internet was born. How amazing is that, right?
Yeah, we're amazing.
Correct, I agree. You're amazing. And then the next category, the millennials, which is the 21 to 50s, internet was leveraged. Google and Facebook were born. Who here doesn't know Google or Facebook? Let's have a chat after this talk. But anyway, if you think about it, Gen X, the internet was born. Millennials era, internet was leveraged. Okay, so there's interesting factors there. Gen 2020, 20 and below, if you look here, apps. This is the era where applications, started booming. If you live in the States or, maybe a first world or more technological country, you can live off by just having apps on your phone. Like I met recently one of my aunts who's been living in the States forever, and I was saying how, hey, maybe we can catch up when I was visiting. Maybe we can catch up next week at this restaurant. And she was like, just come over, like we can just have food delivered, and you know, everything is taken care of. Laundry app, food app, everything else app, okay? Uber app, you know Uber Eats, right? And Uber Eats, I'm not sure if it's already gotten itself to the Philippines, but it's big in America. So everything is already in an app. So the point is, this era right now, the people who were born in this era know more about it than the people who weren't, right? Do you agree? If you look at this infographic, everybody had something going on for them during their time. Which means to say, each generation brings its own view of the world, right? There you go. Which creates both opportunities and threats to businesses. What can we learn here? We can learn from everyone we meet. I think it's inevitable, and you would agree that in any workplace, you would always have colleagues who are older than you or younger than you. It's inescapable, so might as well maximize that fact, right? So reverse mentoring. This is where reverse mentoring comes in. How do you leverage that then? If we know that we can learn from everyone, this is one of the strategies a lot of countries are doing today in the workplace. Basic definition of reverse mentoring. It's an initiative in which older employees are paired with and mentored by younger employees on varied topics that will in turn contribute to the company's overall growth. So in some definitions, they actually want to go more specific, and they want to replace older employees with older executives, right? So they really want to pair C-levels with entry-level positions. A lot of companies are doing it today. Okay, you look at United Healthcare, one of the biggest pharma and health in the health industries. They have their CEO for the central region paired with a mentor who is a strategic account executive. See, she's like on the phone. That's how young she is, right? And then you look at Ogilvy, who's part of an ad agency here. Okay, I see a show of hands. The mentor is an associate director of strategy and the head of their young professional network, while the mentee is the CEO and the marketing head for the agency, right? You look at AXA over there, where the senior executive director is paired with a senior manager for communications. So it's happening. It's happening. It's been happening. It's already happening. Is it happening in your company today? Harvard University actually ran an experiment for reverse mentoring for the past 2-3 years, and this is what their managing director for their worldwide human resources had to say. This arrangement is building relationships, okay? The mentors are getting access to more senior people, and and they get to go behind the scenes, so to speak, to see how leaders think and offer insights. I wanna just ask you this real quick. As HR professionals, and everyone here is from HR? Is anyone here not from HR? Okay, so 99%, right, is from HR. Doesn't matter if you're not, as long as you're a professional, you can relate to this. What is your job description to the core as an HR professional? What do you think it is? Anyone? You can shout it out. Okay, I can see the bubble thoughts. Okay. Main description of HR professionals. You can probably say, you know, I set the culture in the company, right? I take care of what I mentioned earlier. I take care of timekeeping. I take care of maybe payroll, right, for the company. I resolve conflicts internally. In some cases, I take care of the legal documents. I work hand in hand with our accountant, and for some, people who are part of the more technological companies, they also take care of analytics, right? But all of those can be automated. Is that right? All of this can be automated. So if those are automated and you have a software in place doing that work for you, which you're meant to do, what do you do now? What do you do now? You and I have a heart. You and I have a mind. You and I have a soul, okay? So we feel. Is that right? We feel. At the end of the day, none of that can be replaced by a robot, ever. I mean, maybe artificial intelligence can try their knack at it, but I'm still skeptical, you know? Not 200%, they're not gonna be able to duplicate a person, right? You and I are able to feel, you and I have emotions. And as an HR professional, you were meant to build relationships in your workplace. I can ask a C-level, probably, maybe, I was just having this conversation with someone last week, and she was a major executive from one of the biggest banks in the marketplace, right? And I was also in touch with someone who was just an intern for a startup. And I asked them this question: what will make you stay in your job today? Like maybe in the next 5 years, what will keep you in that company? Interestingly, both of them, despite their age difference, okay? Despite their age difference, despite their tenureship in the company, what they do, their position, went back to this question. It will really depend if I'm still continuing to learn or grow. That's their answer. Like, I don't care if you're earning so much, if you're in a really prestigious post, right? If you've been doing this all your life, if you're not learning and growing anymore in your company, you will have to find another source to fill that gap. Even Maslow's theory, you know, the famous Maslow's theory confirms this. You look at the basic needs, and it's really just the stuff that would keep a man alive. Survival kit ba, kumbaga. You know, you've got the water, the food, security. You step it up a bit, and you look at the psychological needs. Emotions are already involved. Prestige, accomplishment, sense of feeling victorious in something. Relationships, it's already there. But you take it a step further, and you look at what completes a man. Sorry. What completes a man? When one achieves one's full attention. One word: purpose, meaning. If I strip you, if I strip you off of your money, your family, your relationships, whatever, your gender, whatever. If I strip you all of that, who are you? What do you live for? Why do you wake up every morning doing what you do? Purpose, meaning. And that's your role as an HR professional. That's why you're a champion in your workplace today. More than the admin tasks, that's a basic JD, right? Everybody has admin tasks. More than that, you are there in your company today to build relationships with a colleague, to make sure that each employee in the company knows their purpose, why they're there. That's your purpose. That's your role as the HR champion. And to be honest, a company won't be successful without its pillars. And you have to realize that as an HR champion, you're one of those champions. You're one of those pillars that keep a company growing and successful. So, with that, I'd like to show a short video on reverse mentoring. There you go. Alan, take it away. Just a short video.
Now, I was in London a month ago. I run this fellow who runs our global consumer finance company. And he says to me, well, I'm working on this project, and I'm a mentee. Mentee? He's the CEO of the business. So what do you mean you're a mentee of what? He said, well, in e-business, I'm not up to speed. He said, in order to get up to speed, I found the brightest young person under 30 in my organization. And I brought them in as a mentor to me. Well, the point of the story was I was there listening to that story. That was one of the best ideas I've heard in years. So I came back. Within 48 hours, everyone in our company was looking at who they got for a mentor, who they could get to help them, and we tipped the organization upside down. We now have the youngest and brightest teaching the oldest.
He's bizarred by that idea. So the guy who was explaining a bit about reverse mentoring is Jack Welch. He's the former CEO of GE, one of the biggest electric companies, right? And he was basically the one who pushed the concept forward. This was during 1999. And that's basically it. Reverse mentoring tips the organization upside down, where you have the younger generation mentoring the older batch. So, what are the perks of reverse mentoring? Because clearly, he saw the value in it. Because the next day, after finding out that concept from a colleague, in 48 hours, he already spread this strategy to his company, and everybody had a mentor who was younger than them, right? So what are the perks of reverse mentoring? I summarized it in 3 very important points. So reverse mentoring pros: you get better work culture, you grow in knowledge, and you tap into forward-looking strategy. So first, better work culture. When you practice this strategy at work, you manage generational diversity, which in turn will help them understand different perspectives, because different age brackets, which will result to less conflict. Right? So again, it's really opening that space and creating that friendly atmosphere with everyone in the company that your opinion matters. Despite you being a junior, despite you being a senior, despite you being a millennial, or despite you being a non-millennial, right? Claire from Workforce actually says, in a reverse mentorship relationship, more experienced employees and managers can benefit from the fresh perspective of younger peers and employees. No longer do people need to work for many years to gain the skills to contribute in a meaningful way. So this is not to discount the fact that people who've worked million years have experience to share. No, it just says that everybody can contribute in a meaningful way, despite the number of years they've been in the industry. You will always learn something new. Second, growth in knowledge, or I'd like to say increase in knowledge, right? I can never harp on this enough, technology. This is, Mark, you've got HR technology fairs every year, and I think everybody agrees that we live in the digital age, is that right? Like technology just gets reinforced and reinvented each day, every single day. When you open up reverse mentoring to people in your company, you will get fresh insights, especially from the millennials. Again, you look at the categories in the infographic, people who were born during the Gen X knows about the internet by heart. People who were born during the millennial season knows how to leverage internet by heart. I was talking to an intern in marketing when I was still the head of marketing for this company, and obviously as an intern, you know, you haven't even graduated yet, right? So you don't have enough years to complete graduation and all that, young, right? And we were talking about social media. Oh my goodness, nuggets of wisdom. This guy was just on fire. He knew what he was doing. You know, he knew what he was doing. And I was, as the older individual in that conversation. Obviously, when we start conversation with people younger than us, we always have that barrier, right? Like, okay, you can share what you know, but at the end of the day, I'm older than you, I know more than you. But no, you give the person a chance and you'll never know, they can blow you with their insight, okay? So I said there, technology, among other things. Because this life is not just about the corporate life, isn't it? Like, if you want to live life to the fullest, you tap in all aspects of your life. Whether it be corporate, your relationships with friends, with family, your personal development, fitness, health, and all that. You can learn from individuals younger than you. Fresh set of eyes, we've tackled this, and cultural insight. If I want to know more about how a millennial thinks, why would I ask my grandpa? right? I mean, if I want to know more about how a 15-year-old thinks, I will ask a 15-year-old, like what takes you on, what takes you off, what motivates you, what demotivates you. So they have that cultural background already because they are living that era. They are that era. So be open to that. The rise of technology and the need for all workers to constantly learn new skills and keep up is one of the best arguments for cultivating multi-generational mentorship. I don't even want to harp on keep up, but learn new things, right? There's a saying that if you want to be wise, you continue to learn. Who doesn't want to learn? No hands raised, because everybody wants to learn. There's a saying that, actually a mantra that I've learned to live by the past years that I've been working in the corporate industry. Improve yourself 1% daily. Okay? Because at the end of it all, you're going to be 365% better after 1 year. So it doesn't matter if you're just reading an extra page from a book you're reading every day, or, you know, learning a new skill, maybe piano or whatever, or talking to a stranger that you've never done before because you're never comfortable. Try something new. Just always push yourself to learn and improve because it makes wonders. Okay? Naomi, the HR VP for Kimberly-Clark, Asia Pacific. So they were doing reverse mentoring for a couple of years, and this is one of her insights from it. Reverse mentorship has the potential to influence key business decisions and facilitate strategy-focused mentoring dialogues to help leaders extract latent workforce intelligence. At the same time, the mentees also benefit from the guidance and leadership of the mentors. So we take away the benefit of growing in knowledge, right? Of setting good culture with everyone for a second. This group right here, Kimberly-Clark, had the strategy influence key business decisions. How powerful is that? If you know how to leverage this strategy at your workplace, it's gonna impact the whole company altogether. So again, never limit something new that you've never tried. Last but not the least, forward-looking, right? So it sets up new generation leaders, which in turn will help the retention of your talents and career path for your employees. Millennials now represent the largest generation in the workforce. So if I'm an HR professional and part of my job is to recruit, right? So if I recruit someone who's a millennial, or maybe not a millennial for that matter, of course when you recruit, your ultimate, two things as your ultimate objective is to make sure they blend well with the company, because you're not going to hire someone who doesn't fit, right, culturally and everything else. Second, you make sure they're retained. How do you keep them? Know them more, right? So when you practice reverse mentoring, you see potential. You see the potentials. That could be the next C-level in the next 5 years. You see interest from these guys. You see how they think, how they strategize. That's one of the ways to know. So again, better work culture, growth in knowledge, forward-looking strategy. So now that we have the benefits, I want to just tap on real quick the strategy, right? How do you leverage then reverse mentoring in your company? Actually, this is really for mentors who are millennials, right? If you decide to do this in your workplace, but the tactics that I'm going to share with you is really for both. If you're the mentor and you're the millennial, this will work for you. If you're the mentee and you're not the millennial, this will also work for you. It's a two-way thing. Mentorship is never one way, okay? Funny, again, I'm going to share. Sorry, I'm just talking a lot. When I was writing down the bullets and the tactics for this, I was thinking of a hook, right? I need to create something, or maybe an acronym, yung mga I love you so much, ganun, ganun. I needed to think of a hook that would make you remember the tactics, right? And funny, they just really put it all together when I was writing it. Bless. If you want to remember how to leverage reverse mentoring at work, remember to bless. Okay? You with me? Yeah, cool. B, be open L, listen. E, experiment. S, set expectations or milestones. And last S, stay humble. Be open. You have to be open to learn and unlearn things. If you want to continue improving yourself as a person, and I'm not just talking about a corporate individual, but as a person, you need to be open all the time. You don't need to be open and take in and agree with everything. No, that doesn't practice critical thinking. You be open to whatever someone has to say, and then you do analyze, right? With your opinions, with data, with facts, insights, and then you end up agreeing or disagreeing with an idea. So be open. L, listen. I have met a lot, or a handful of excellent leaders in my lifetime. And these leaders are not just part of the corporate industry. They're professional leaders, or they can be advocates, part of the ministry in church, or in the fitness industry, or in the music industry, showbiz. These people are they're mentors, right? One of the things all of them have in common, they always harp on this characteristic of a successful leader. It's to listen. Maybe you know Francis Kong? Yeah? I like him, right? I call him Tito Francis. Wow, close. But anyway, he always talks about this. Listen, if you think about it, when you're in a conversation with a mentor or, a leader in the room, they're never the ones to speak first and foremost. They always, number one, stay open, to everyone saying a piece. And second, they listen before speaking themselves. Hearing and listening are two different things, okay? It's different when you hear something from a superior that you don't really like. Pasok dito, labas dito. Pero yung listen, you really, genuinely, I want to understand where you're coming from, and genuinely, I want to understand how I can contribute to that. Listen. Third, experiment. Reverse mentoring, you don't have limits to this. Okay, so initially, when you think of reverse mentoring, maybe I can practice it within a department, right? I can pair C-level of marketing to a junior associate in marketing. Mix and match. Nothing bad with that. Try head of marketing and communications to a junior developer or coder from IT. So what can transpire from that is, from the head of marketing's perspective, I can let the IT guy know that, hey, this is what works for our social media. This is what works for clickbaits. This is what gets foot traffic on the website. Maybe we can work together to collaborate, right? And the IT can give insight in saying, well, these are the keywords that actually get you more traffic on your website. Collaboration, experiment, never be afraid to go out of the black and white structure. Fourth, set expectations or milestones. This is really simple. When I say expectations, this can be, when do you want to do the schedule, mentorship schedule? Is it during lunchtime, coffee break, in a formal setting, casual setting? As simple as that, right? Milestones. This can pertain to, for the 3 months of mentorship, maybe we can tap on the industry trends and insights from, like a millennial, and from where you are at in life today for the first 3 months. And after 3 months, we can tap on lifestyle. Like, what de-stresses you? What do you do to de-stress? You can learn more and just tap out of the norm. So set expectations and milestones. Last but not least, stay humble. Okay? One of the, most difficult characteristics that you can practice, if you know in your core, to your core and in your heart, that you actually have more knowledge on this certain topic than the person you're being mentored on, you're menteeing, right? Or mentoring. Stay humble. I had the opportunity to take over a sales team in my recent years, right? And it was it was a challenge because the one who I was replacing had at least 30 years of experience ahead of me, right? And he's handled this team for more than a year, or maybe close to that. So what I'm trying to say is relationship has already been established, but I needed to step in and I had to take the role. Will we back down when we're given opportunities? Of course not. But of course we don't just take it in, right? Of course we analyze and try to weigh. And at that point, it was something that I had to say yes to. Challenge. That group, aggressive, smart millennials, meaning to say, I had to be in charge of people way older than me. Okay, I had to be in charge of people who, has been in the industry longer than I. And it was pretty difficult because there were times when they would just rattle and tell me things like, dude, you just got to your position just now, so how can you actually give me insight on that? You know what I realized? By staying humble, you prove yourself, okay? All right, I get you. I understand where you're coming from. I respect that. You have all the right to feel that way. I get it. So what do you do now? What do you do now? You have to understand who you are. So I'm not going to be placed in that position if I didn't have what it takes, right? You weren't going to be given that opportunity if the person who gave you that opportunity knew that you had the potential to take that role. So you have to know who you are to the core, and then you do your best in exemplifying that to the people around you. A few months after, and best buds in the world, right? So at the end of the day, execution is what matters when you want people to see you as a mentor, right? You have to know who you are, know your full potential, know your purpose, and do your best in everything. So, again, reverse mentoring tactics, one word, bless, okay? If you want to take advantage of this strategy, you have to learn how to bless. So letter B, be open, listen, experiment, correct? And the last S, very important, stay humble. One thing I learned about humility, people notice. You know why? Because there's no other way to go but up. When you stay humble, you stay grounded. And you just attract people because of how you are and what you do in life. No other way but up. So if you want to be exalted, ironically, stay humble. Okay, in closing, sorry Mark if am I going over time? Okay, cool. Bonus, just real quick. So I told you about the pros in reverse mentoring, how it's been working, across borders. Maybe in Asia, some firms are actually practicing it, but not really fully. We've talked about the benefits of it. We've talked about the tactics of it. I think to myself, okay, but I need to show them, I need to give them value in terms of who's an example, right? Give me evidence, what is the best strategy in reverse mentoring? Who do you think has exemplified the best strategy in reverse mentoring? And actually, you know what? I can say mentoring in general. So it can be mentorship, reverse mentorship, flash mentorship, whatever type of mentorship there is. Who do you think has the best strategy? Maybe we can talk about Steve Jobs or, certain presidential candidates in the past. But I want to zero in on this one person. You guys ready? You guys ready? Okay. Jesus. Okay. Disclaimer, I'm not gonna try to talk about Christianity, right? Again, if you want to learn and continue to improve yourself as a person, you be open and you listen. I see nods and eyebrows, cool. Jesus, why do I say Jesus? I'm not gonna talk about Jesus and how he claims to be Son of God and, all the Christianity aspect of it. I'm gonna tackle Jesus as a religious leader, as a historical figure, and as an influential during his era. Okay? just for those who still doubt his existence, last year I was given the privilege and opportunity to visit Israel for the first time. My gosh, I've never been there. I never really had the passion to go there, the call to go there, but it happened. And cut the long story short, it was an experience that I will never forget. And just to put it out there, if you get the opportunity to go to the Holy Land, do it. Don't restrict yourself, resources, schedule, forget about that. It's gonna work out, okay? If you have the opportunity, go to Israel. So, going back to the story, I went to Israel and stayed there for almost a month, right? I was part of a conference that happened during that time. And I was talking to locals in the area, and most of the locals that I've had a conversation with were Orthodox Jews. So Orthodox Jews are basically people who see a Messiah still to come, right? So God, the Savior of the world is still to come. And they're practicing Judaism and all that, all the tradition of being a Jew. And when I asked them, almost always, we will get to the topic of Jesus, obviously, because we're in the Holy Land, we're talking about Christianity and all that. They tell me, yeah, Jesus, good prophet, good teacher, para siyang Jose Rizal sa kanila. So he's like a national hero, okay? So I'm touching on this topic because if you still doubt his existence, don't look at the Bible, look at historical books. Jesus existed, okay? So why do I feel and why do I deem his strategy and mentorship to be the most effective and, the most emerging of all strategies? This is one word that I believe have changed mentorship 200%. Jesus' strategy and mentorship revolved around one word: investment. You can opt to be a mentor and give value, in terms of technology and how you're going to help the person in their lifestyle and practices and all that. What set Jesus apart with all the mentors in the world today is his disciples. The very basic evidence of that. He had 12 apostles, 12 disciples. He preached to a lot of people. Different age groups, different life statuses, male, female, yung meron, yung may kaya, yung walang kaya, in authority, not in authority. And what? They listened, right? And he didn't just preach or didn't just share a message to them. He invested his life in theirs, which in turn, they invested their lives in his. He ate with them. He spent nights with them. Spent mornings with them, spent traveling with them. He experienced failures with these guys. He experienced triumphs, victories, and even miracles, right, with these guys. Investment was the key factor why these guys stuck it out and why they followed him. At the end of the day, there are only two types of mentors in the world. Ones that stick and ones that don't. If you give value that's enough for your mentee to get by, reverse. If you're a mentee, you're giving your mentor value that's enough for him to get by, it's not going to stick. If I teach you how to file documents in this specific cabinet as part of the mentorship scheduling program that we have at work, that's going to give me value in the workplace. But if I exit that company, join another one, and they don't have cabinets and everything's automated, what's that value to me, right? That's still value, but it's not value that's essential to life. Last story, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my younger brother. And I was sharing with him how, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. There's an opportunity to do a mission trip next month to Visayas, 1 week immersion, ganyan. I've never worked with this group before. I've never worked in this organization, this teammates before. I've never done what we're supposed to do before. So it's so exciting. And then he's like, oh, okay, cool. March, when? And I was like, during the Holy Week. So that's like the last week of March, right? And then he was like, Holy Week. Okay, Sunday to Saturday. As in full week. And then I told him, yeah, Holy Week. I mean, people are more receptive to the message, to the word, because it's holy, right? And then he tells me, in a very subtle manner. You know, it's like truth in love. That's essential as well, guys. Balance, truth in love. He was telling me, okay, I'm very happy that you're going to do something nice and charitable, right? But I want you to remember that your first ministry is your family. Wow. To me, that was wow. Because he was like, because in our family, we're never together all the time. You know? My dad has his own work full-time. My mom has her own work full-time. My brother has his own work full-time. My other brother's not with us. So when public holidays like that happen, it's very, like, it's sacred talaga. Like, literal holy siya. Kasi it's the only time we get to spend time together. So, and this guy is younger than me, right? So whenever he speaks, I'm like, taray, okay, may wisdom. But that made a lot of sense, right? To me, in my personal life, that was wisdom. And I didn't expect that to come from someone younger than me. I mean, I don't just see him as a younger person. I grew up with this guy all my life. So I see him as a baby, you know? But for him to tell me that valuable statement really changed my perspective. So, again, two types of mentors in this world. Ones that stick, ones that don't. If you want value that lasts a lifetime, like Jesus, be the one to provide it. Invest. Okay, this is like a bonus. If you really want to take mentorship 200% on steroids, invest on the people you have relationships with. I don't mean to be like there every day and to text them every day, how are you, right? That can work too, but it can be creepy. But when I say invest, have that genuine concern in loving them. Not romantically, but loving them to mature, to nourish, to make sure they grow as better individuals. So, I want to end this session with the same question. Who do you think has the ability to mentor? Anyone, correct? I hope your answers, if that was your answer from the beginning of the session, I hope it stays the same. And if it wasn't, I hope it changes. See your value and see the value in people. Graf says in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, there's an assumption that if you're a senior, you have a lot to teach, and if you're junior, you have a lot to learn. And I'm saying, let's challenge the status quo. As HR champions, you have the power to challenge the status quo. Again, you go back to your core job description. It's to build relationships in the workplace. Okay? Another bonus. Ulit. Another bonus, of course, being a millennial myself, right? And if you're part of the millennial era or whatever era you're a part of, be proud, okay? Look at the positives of it and make sure you maximize that to the full. Another bonus, since I have been with Sprout for the past more than 2 years, I have been exposed to different tools, you know, that can help HR professionals such as yourselves. So I want to give you free HR tools that you can find online. So if you want to get a snapshot of that so you can get on it, it's for free, it's online, it's going to help your work be more productive and more efficient. Otherwise, I'm sending this deck to the Business Maker team anyway, so they can send it to your personal emails. Sprout Solutions, timekeeping, payroll, recruitment, if you have any challenge there, you know who to get in touch, experts in the industry. Trello is a project management tool which can help with your to-do lists. Asana is a really nice minutes of the meeting tracker, right? So it's perfect for mancoms, execoms. Slack, one of my favorite communication platforms in the company. Skeda, if you wanna book venues in the workplace, kung merong marketing, magpapabook ng training room for tomorrow, easy app right there. Evernote for notes, Calendly for schedules. One of my favorites, Noisely. Noisely is a music app. If you want to zero in or focus on completing a task, maybe you have something very important to finish by the end of the day, put your earphones on. You get to choose which type of sounds you want to listen to that makes you focus and relaxed. As like, I don't know, waterfall sound or fire cracking wood, mga ganon. So it's a nice tool that can help you focus more. So yeah, let's connect. And I want to pick your brains out, pick my brains out as well. Let me know what you thought about my talk and how we can collaborate and contribute to better each other in the future. You can add me on Facebook or LinkedIn. My name's Tiffany Mallillin. Or you can even, get tips and tricks in fitness and HR tools and recipes. Mark is smiling. Instagram and Twitter, Tiff_toe. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. I really appreciate you guys. And continue to bless and be blessed. Thank you.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Fantastic. That's reverse mentorship right there. Did you learn? Fantastic. Fantastic talk. Tiff, stay. We have some questions. Yeah, we there's a lot, but we have to limit it to about 3. So here's the first question. Can reverse mentoring be part of a formal career development program or just an informal practice? Please share mechanics for implementing it.
Okay, so definitely it can be part of a formal career development program. As what I've shared earlier, big firms and companies in the States, in Europe, across Asia, are using it. And for example, Kimberly-Clark, Asia Pacific, are implementing it in their company, and it's already influenced the key business decision factors, right? So it's very informal. When you say informal, you're tapping on the lifestyle area of it outside the corporate world. But if not, then yeah, you can do a career development program with it. Again, you look at the factor of forward-looking strategy. You get to see potentials in your current roster of employees and how they think, how they can contribute. And in some cases, actually, because they were practicing the reverse mentoring program in their company, just the mentor, right? He became an associate na, parang EA or like a shadowing management training of the CEO. So you'll never know. You can always mix and match, experiment, but definitely you can foster this in a formal career development program.
Very good. Next question. What are your thoughts about the unconscious demotivation on the older workforce that may be brought about by reverse mentoring?
What are my thoughts? What the?
Demotivation.
Demotivation. Wow! Big word though, right? Pero yung nag-save naman doon yung unconscious factor of it. Right? Mark, kaya ko ba yan? What are your thoughts about the unconscious demotivation? Okay, this is a fact, right? And I admit this myself. In the past years that I've done reverse mentorship and the opposite. When you're faced with someone who's younger than you and who's teaching you tips and tricks about something that you think you're an expert on, may wall talaga, na parang, dude, the only I guess thought that will always repeat in the heads of these mentees, right, will be papunta ka pa lang, pabalik na ako. So, yun eh, na parang if you're the older generation and you're getting mentored by this young yuppie who knows nothing but apps, lalim, but who knows nothing but apps, you have that mantra. One word, acceptance. Okay? You go back to, do you want to grow? Do you want to learn? Do you want to improve as a person? If you don't want to do that, then we have to talk after this session. But again, you go back to yourself. It's a benefit for yourself. If you want to continue improving yourself, why are you closing doors in knowing what's out there? Right? You have to be open to that. Kung yung demotivation mo, unconscious, yung motivation mo, gawin mo conscious. Na parang I'm consciously being motivated by it. I'm not opposed to it. And you know what? Open arms. And last but not least, again, when I say open, you don't accept it right away, but don't close it, right? So you be open, you analyze, you try to learn, you try to adapt, and then that's it. If you agree or disagree, that's critical thinking. And I think that's what sets something objectively, right?
Very good. Last question. As a millennial, what is meaningful work conversation to you? How can you make someone accomplished appreciate your own accomplishments?
One word, evidence. Okay? It's true.
Right.
This is what worked for me in the past, and I think this is what's going to work for you. If you're a millennial trying to prove your worth or value, and you're trying to make someone older than you appreciate you, you can't just babble. People can always try to babble their ways into something, but evidence is something that will speak for itself. If you really know yourself, number one, you're not going to be in that position if you don't have the potential to be in that position. If you know yourself and you believe that to be true, that I am capable, I am able, I know I can do it, despite the demotivators around or despite the stereotypes around, I'm going to do my best, right, to accomplish the tasks at hand. If I do that, your works will speak for yourself. And that's the time you remain humble. Kasi parang, I don't need to prove anything to you. Look at my works. You want a task done? Done. You want a task to be done? Done. Ganon. So, just that. Just make sure you do your best in everything, and I promise you, you will not fail.
Fantastic. Round of applause.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Let's go have a little awarding ceremony. Again, round of applause for Miss Tiffany Mallillin. That's awesome.